Fine. So what we'll do is we'll write one small program. We'll create a small game. Okay, that game is basically guessing the number. Okay. Now what does this game do? So the rules of the game is it should generate a random number. Whenever the game starts, machine will create a random number which we need to guess in some number of chances. Let's say we have given 6 chances. So within 6 chances we have to guess the number. If we are able to guess the number, we'll get the score. Right? So let's say I'm guessing in the first chance, I will get 60 points. When I'm guessing in the second chance, I will get 50 points. Third chance, 40 points. Because I'm taking chance, so my score will reduce, right? Right? So we have to guess in the first chance, or total we'll get 6 chances. Right? Let's say if I'm not guessing the number, if the number is 15, I'm guessing 12, then machine should tell me, give me a hint that you are guessing low, guess a higher number. Right? And then there should be an option to play again. Right? So what all things we want? We first want logic to generate a random number, right? Then we want hint, we want score calculation, right? We want play again option, right? We also wanted to give chances, right? And based on the number of chance, this should work, right? And then we what else we need? Do you guys have any feature in mind which you feel like can be implemented? Hint, pause. So you want to pause the game and then you want to continue. But unless and until you are giving the input, right, it is always in the pause state. That will come when you have the UI. Right? So you have to pause the game and then start new. But in this, in the backend, we are not creating the UI. We are just creating the backend logic, right? In backend, we can write the function, we can write the logic, but until the UI is there, we cannot show. You cannot see how things are working. Can we also get a player name? Enter the player name, right? Can we have multiple player in this? Player 1 and player 2. So both the players are playing, and then whichever player has highest score, that player is the winner. Can we also have challenge and tournament kind of thing? That means one game series means challenge. Tournament means multiple game series. Right? And whichever game is more number of games, whichever player wins, that player is the winner of the tournament. Right? So those are the second set of logic that we'll try to implement. But let's first focus on this set of logic. Okay. So what is the first thing that we need to do? Let's make it more interactive. Give your thoughts, right? Give your inputs, and based on that, we'll design this program, right? What is the first thing that we need to do? We have to generate the random number. That is the first thing, right? So that can be done using this import random Random is a built-in package in Python, right? And then we are creating random dot randint 1 to 20. So let's generate the random number between 1 to 20. Now it's generating 14, 9, 5, right? Okay. Now what should we do? The second part. The second thing what we need to do. Now we have to ask the user that start guessing the number. Maybe you can do some welcome message that welcome to this game, or some rules and regulation you can print. But I'm just writing a core part of it. So we'll ask the user to guess the number between 1 to 20. Right? Now what user can do? What are the scenarios that user can get? Let's say the number which we are supposed to guess is 15. Now what are the possibilities user can do? If the number that is generated by the system, by the machine, is for 15, then what are the possibilities that the user can do? The first possibility is the user can guess the correct number. What are the other possibilities? What is the next thing we need to do? We need to put the checks, right? We need to verify whether the number which is getting generated and the number what user is guessing, whether both are matching or not matching. If both are matching, then it is correct. But what are the other scenarios? It cannot match, right? If it's not matching, then what are the possibilities? Next chance we'll get, but how will you identify, like if we want to give the hint, right? That you are guessing low, you are guessing high. Then how to categorize? What are the possibilities? What are the scenarios that we can have? One scenario is user can guess the correct number, where guess is equal to num. What are the other scenarios? Yeah, we can use this statement, but what are the scenarios? If number is between 1 to 5, so how will you take 1 to 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 15, like that? Or can we have scenarios like if number is equal, less, or greater? Less than 15, equal to 15, greater than 15. These are the three possible scenarios, right? And the fourth scenario could be when the number is beyond 20 or below 1, invalid. So we have four scenarios. When you have four scenarios and one input, which concept should be implemented? Which concept can we implement when we have multiple scenarios? While is to repeat the logic, right? If else, just you have mentioned, right? We need to go with conditional statement. So the first condition is guess is more than num. If guess is more than num, we'll do the print, and what will print is you are guessing low, right? guess a higher number. The next scenario is elif. We'll put elif because it is the same conditional statement. We are not making it different conditional statement, right? If you want to make different conditional statement, then you can go with if. But if you are going with if, then every time it will check all the conditions. That's not the case with us, right? We want if one of the condition is true, then we should not check the remaining conditions. So elif guess is less than, and then we'll print you are guessing high. Guess a lower number. Okay. The third case could be if number is equal to num, then bingo. And now I'll write the fourth case where we'll say that invalid guess. So here let me put the range, that number should be greater than less than guess, right? So greater than 0 and here, and number should be less than equal to 20, right? That means if number is greater than guess and less than equal to 20, then it is high. We are guessing high. If the number is less than guess and greater than 0, then we are guessing low. If the number is equal to guess, then we are guessing the correct number. Other than this, if anything else comes, that is invalid, right? So if we execute this, we don't know what is the number, right? So let me guess 14. It says that you are guessing high, guess a lower number, but it is executing only once. I need to provide 6 chances, right? What should we do to get to implement a chance? For loop. Where should we implement the loop? From where? From which line? Where should I put the loop? Here? For x in range of 6, just execute this. Hello? So now what's happening? When I'm executing, let's say I'm giving the input. It is running. It is asking the input once and executing 6 times. So where we have done the mistake? That means this line should also be inside the loop, right? Because every time I need to ask the input, right? Logically, every time we will be asking enter, get the number. Okay. Should I put this line also inside? What will happen if I put this also inside the loop? Understand what will happen? Hmm? My loop starts, one new number will be generated. Every chance it will generate a random new number. So your game will become much more difficult, right? Every chance the new number is getting created. So your hint and everything is not valid now, right? So this we need not put inside. Now if I execute, it says like you are guessing high. Guess a lower number. Okay, let me guess 10. Still you are guessing high. Okay, 5. So 5 is the correct number which I guessed in the third chance. But even after guessing, it is asking me to guess the number. That means when we need to stop the iteration, stop the loop, right? When your guess is correct. So we have to put here break. At which condition will be stopping? Whenever it is correct. Then we have to stop, right? So we are using break here. You're guessing high. Okay. Luckily again I'm able to guess in the second chance. Right? So it's breaking. I'm getting the number. Right? But I need to implement score calculation. When should we calculate the score? When should we calculate the score? When to calculate the score? Right. So score calculation, it does not require in if and else condition, right? In these two conditions. Ideally the score should be calculated when we do the correct guess. Right? So score calculation should happen here. Right? Just think logically, step by step, what should happen. So ideally score calculation should happen when you are guessing correctly. So that's the reason I am putting inside this ellipse block. Right? Now for score calculation, If I'm guessing in the first chance, I should get 60 points. If I'm guessing in the second chance, I should get 50, 40, 30, 10 and 0, something like that, right? So it should be depending on the number of chances. How we are getting to know what is the number of chance? How we'll get to know the number of chances? Whether I'm in the first chance or second or third. How to know? How to identify that? Which section? That's fine, but in your program, how will you know what is the number of chance that's happening? How many times this loop is running? 6 times. How you know that it is running for 6 times? Based on range of 6, right? But every iteration is one chance, right? How will you identify the iteration? Which iteration the loop is running? How to identify? This x will tell me, right? If x is 0, first chance. If x is 1, second. If x is 2, third chance. If x is 4, fourth chance. So based on the value of x, we are able to identify the iteration, right? And that iteration itself is a chance. So can I create a expression which works based upon x into 10? When x is 0, 60 minus 0 into 10 is 60. When x is 1, that means second chance. 60 minus 1 into 10 is 50. So this expression is working. So now I'll say like, okay, score is this. Clear? Now let's execute again. 14, you are guessing high. 10, still I'm guessing high. 5, still I'm guessing high. 3, I'm guessing low. So what is the number? 4, right? Score is 20. Right? Simple, right? For loop, conditional statement. Slowly, like step by step, if you start writing the code, you will get that clarity what needs to be done. Think, understand, and then implement. Right? Now the next thing is we want to, let's say what if I go and enter. Now once your program is ready, basic program, then think about all the possible scenarios what can come up. Right? What if I give some negative numbers? Some negative numbers, right? So 5 times I have entered the invalid number, and what happened, it consider that as a chance. So now what do you want? Do you want to consider invalid guess as a chance, or you don't want to consider? Now it is considering, right? So do you want to consider in the game, or you can let all the player enter n number times invalid data, but if there is a valid number between 1 to 20, then only you'll give 6 chances. How do you want to do? Got the point, right? So now do you want, so currently it is considering invalid guess as a chance, right? If you don't want to consider that as a chance, I don't want to consider invalid guess as a chance. That means whenever I am running this for loop, it can be run for 7 times also, right? 8 times also. If I am giving 4 invalid chance, then it can be 10 times also, right? So we need to understand, can I use this for loop to execute more than 6 times? We cannot, because for loop always goes and take the data from the collection, right? Even though if you come here, right, invalid, and if you start saying like, okay, x equal to x minus 1, whenever user is doing invalid guess, I'll decrement the chance, right? Now if you see, still it is going for 6 times. So you cannot decrement or increment the iteration in for loop, because even though you're decrementing here, again it goes to the for loop and takes from the range the next value. For loop is a collection based loop, right? It cannot execute based on the condition, right? So it is always going to the collection and taking the new item of the collection. So we can execute the for loop 6 times, not more than that. You can execute lesser than that by implementing break, but we cannot execute more than 6 times, right? So what we need to do in order to execute more than 6 times? We have to use while loop. While, let me give the chance as x equal to 0. So while x is less than 6, keep running the loop, right? And now when do you want to increment the chance? Whenever the user is guessing higher or lower number, then only increment the chance. Now you keep entering invalid number, it will not consider that as a chance, because we are not incrementing x. So the value of x will not change. If the value of x is not changing, that means your loop will keep on running, right? If you want to change the value, if you want to consider invalid input as a chance, then what you need to do is you just need to increment here. If you want to consider invalid guess as a chance, then I'll increment in all the scenarios, right? But I don't want. I just want that whenever the user is guessing invalid input, I'll not consider as a chance. So will not increment. Now you keep giving invalid input. So already more than 6 times, right? Okay. Now what I want is, so now what we need to do is we need to implement the play again option, right? So for play again, what should we do? If I want to play again, then which concept we need to implement? Basically, this entire logic will be executed again, right? So which concept you have to implement? Yeah, we can ask another input if you want to continue, but which concept you have to execute to execute the entire code again? Loop, right? Again, we have to loop it. What we need to loop? The entire program. That means loop should start from here. So choice equal to y, and here I'll tell while choice is equal to y, then execute. It will create a new random number and again the game will start, right? And outside, when the game is executed, right, then I'll ask the user press Y to continue in the outer loop. If you put this inside the inner loop, then every chance it will ask, right? Every chance it will ask, do you want to continue? Do you want to continue? Right? But I want to ask when the game is over. That means it comes out of the inner loop, right? Then we'll give an option to user whether to continue or not. If they want to, or press Y to play again. If user says Y, user can mention capital Y also, right? So we need to handle. So what we'll do is whatever the user mentioned will convert into lowercase, and then we'll compare. Right? So this is created. Now what if I'm choice. So what if I enter, if I'm not able to guess the number? I'm able to guess. So if I'm not able to guess the number, five times. If when I'm not unable to guess the number in 6 chances, this game is not telling me what was the number. It should tell me a message, right, that you lost a game or a game over, and that was the number. That's not happening, right? So we should give that information. Where should I put that code? Where should I put that code? That means when your game is over, right? This game is over, 6 chances is over, then you have to put the thing, right? So here you say like, okay, print game over, right? Number was yes. What's happening? What's going infinite times? 6, x is 6. See, this is a mistake, right? It should increment and decrementing. So what's happening? It is decrementing the chance. I was telling like game over, number was 16. Right? Let me play again. And this time let me try to guess the number. So guessing a higher number, guess lower. Okay. But again it's telling like score 50, game over, number was 10. That's wrong, right? This message should not come when I'm guessing correctly. Right? So there are two scenarios in which we are coming out of the loop. One is when you have taken all the 6 chances, so this condition becomes false, then you are coming out. The second is when you are breaking. You can break in between also, right? So that time also you are coming out. So I should not show this message when I am breaking, right? This message should be shown only when the 6 chances are over. So here what we can put is, we know how to identify the number of chances. So if x is equal to 6, then only we'll put this message. Clear? Right? So now this game is created, which is not multiplayer, but this is having an option play again, score calculation, corner case, if your game over case, game over scenario. Also is handling the chance, right? Providing the hint, right? Understood how we have done this? Here we have like combined all the concept, conditional statement, loop, right? It's just about your thought process. We know like, okay, this thing I have to repeat multiple times, loop. Now you take a call where to put the loop, because it's just the logic that you've written, right? Right? I'll share this program. I've shared the URL in WhatsApp group. Okay, this URL is valid for 24 hours. So you can go to the link and copy. Do not cut. If you cut, then other people cannot see. So just copy and take the out. I'll also upload this file in the Google Drive. Okay. Yes. Fine. So we'll stop here. Right. This completes for loop and while loop conditional statement. Right. The chessboard what I have given, you wanted to understand, right? So I'll provide you the requirement what needs to be done. Okay. But what you can do today is write down this program again from scratch. and if possible don't look at this code, right? That will help you to understand where you are struggling, whether you're struggling in writing the while loop, whether you're struggling in conditional statement, whether you're struggling in logic building, right? So that thing should, like, you should be clear, then only you can let me know, right, that this is the area which I'm not clear or I'm struggling, right?